Let's talk slots. Sponsored by Slots Butter, America's #1 alien blood slot car oil. They say if your neighbor sits on their front porch with their big fat ass, yell over, "Get your ass out my yard." Slots Butter. I'm starting a new category on bodies and stuff like that, because I kind of like customizing stuff. You know, maybe when I get my airbrush, I'll do some paint jobs, do more decal and stuff like that. So this is kind of going to be a different category. I put on my channel some things on like how to make 55 Chevy versus a Viper and how to customize. I'm going to go back on my videos and change that to body shop. So, like this here is a stock Tyco. I don't know if people knew that. It's a stock. It came from the factory like that. I don't have my heat gun and my airbrush. All that stuff's in storage in another state. But I can do basic stuff. So I did this one. I showed you with the parachute and this and that. And on these, quick tip, when you set your locations and stuff, set it in location and do a little mark. Dead center and dead center on the side, and draw an L to dead center here. That's where you drill your hole. So, little placement tip. You can also go off of edges, distance from here to here. Make sure, use the edges as reference points from here to here. Stuff like that. So, generally this will wipe right off the plastic. No big deal. So, I'll lick that a little bit and put some water on it, get it better. Cleaner. So yeah, so that kind of, another thing on like this blower, see how it's kind of pointing up, it's not flush. Like the top of it's not flat. A lot of times what you can do instead of sanding, because a lot of these hoods are contoured, see how that's curved? So this piece here, I had to take a razor knife and just kind of rub on the plastic. Go like this. Get that plastic, to come thinner and shape it. You can shape it that way as opposed to using sandpaper. Excuse me. So what I did on this, one of these things don't look like the others. This one. These are all from the Hot Rod series. Tyco did back in the early 90s. They put these engines on there. One of my videos I showed how I had some Corvettes. They called them Cyclones. I got off Slot Car Central. And they were $15 a body. Now he has high shipping. The way to get around that is just to buy more. So, spend 50, 60 bucks and then his high shipping doesn't feel so bad, But if you buy one car at his shipping costs, you're kind of screwing yourself. So you got to buy more. Be smart. Save your pennies up. Get a paper route. You'd be homeless. Like me. I'm living at my sister's house. So anyway, I got these off the Cyclones. And then I sold the bodies in, Mechanic Special, which was cool. Someone could use them. But I wanted these motors. So one thing I found out is when I sliced it, because I was thinking I would just slice it and super glue it, there's a cavity here, a hole. So somehow Tyco must have put a plug in here, put it through their bodies. You can't see, I got tape on that. Put the plug through the body and then melted it with the heat gun. So as you can see, these two still have the plug in them. I didn't slice these off because I was thinking I would super glue them someday. But this one I sliced off already. So what I did, I did my bungee on this because this body was loose. So let's see how it's been sitting for 24 hours. When you do this technique to bring these bodies in, let them warm up in the sun before you put the bungee cord on. So this one should snap on nicely. This is a long wheelbase. So let's see what we got. That's not bad. I thought it'd be better. I might have to redo it. I'd like them to be a little tighter. Yeah, it's kind of feeling... I might redo this one. Sometimes you... Well, it was kind of cloudy yesterday, so I don't think it got enough heat. So I'm going to redo this bungee on this one. But anywho, what I did is I placed my motor on the body. Alright. And then I used the reference point technique. So it's going to be hard to see. I'm bringing it up here a little bit. So basically I looked at all these and checked out the distributor cap here. That's what that round thing is. From the edge of this hood seam. Alright. And they're different on, like this one's different. This one, the hood seam is different. What is it? Yeah, well, it's pretty close. They got the hood seam and then the distributor is right there. This one, the hood seam is here, but the distributor and the distributor is here. Okay, so this one here is a little closer to the hood seam. Plus on these Chevys, you got these two decorative bullet type things up front. So you can check the distance between those as well as a reference point. Okay, see how this end of the engine is so far from this bullet decorative piece on it, and it's so far from this seam out back, and it, just so far from this, it's so far from the side of the hood seam. All right, so you got to use your reference points, and so you place your engine on there, and you go. What I did was go for the back hood seam. I used that as a reference point and got my distributor as close as I thought it should go on that. And then what I did is I used the distance between the corner of the engine to this bullet to center it. Alright. Then once I got that, I took my Sharpie and I made a mark to the center point. And the center point over here, like in between these two exhaust pipes, is what I did. Okay, boom. And then after I got that, I drilled my hole. And then I reset it, and then instead of a mark here, I went with a line. That's kind of crooked, but you got to do it straight. That way, when I went, nice freaking hairs everywhere. So, after that, I went to the straight line. And so the straight line is on here. You can't see it very well. You might have to redo it. But it's kind of there. It's smudged. So what I did after I centered it, I drilled a hole. I use these drill bits with the gold tip. They're sharper. So I used a 1.5 and a 2. And a 2 turned out to be exactly the width of a toothpick. So what I did basically was I sliced it, and first I put the toothpick in because it was tight fit, and then I used my motor. This goes all the way up. That's why this is so long. That cavity goes all the way up to the top. So what I did is I went like that and pushed my toothpick down, and that gave me the estimated distance I needed. So I cut one, checked it, and it was too long or too short. I think it was too short. So I did another one because I wanted it to come out here so I could make a hump of super glue on it. You know, what I was thinking of doing is splicing this wood down and spreading it, but I decided not to. Figured that'd be good enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill this body cavity up, engine cavity up, and stick this engine on here. You know, so I mean, I'm past the body line on the end of the distributor here, as you can see. I wish I wasn't. And on the front, I'm off a little bit as well. Not much. I was going for the distance between the corner of this engine to this bullet seam on the hood. I'm pretty close, but overall it looks pretty good, you know. So yeah, I'm going to change a category to body shop, I'm going to call it. We'll be doing crap like this. So you got to shake this super glue up. Sometimes it liquefies. This is gel. And don't use the regular glue. You want to use gel stuff on all your kind of repairs. So I'm going to shoot some in there. That should be good enough. Maybe a little more. So you got to be careful with super glue coming out past where you want it, like I did on this. You know, if you look, super glue came out over here. But that's because I didn't shake it up. It was kind of liquidy. But this was just kind of something I wanted to flip through. This is pretty damn good, man, myself. The engine's at least centered. So, make sure you put this on right the first time. See all that super glue stick coming out? That should be enough to put on the surface. So, size it up. You know, what I like to do is press it down real good to get all that super glue squished into position. Before it dries, you have time to manipulate the position of the hood. I mean the engine. So that looks a little crooked. Could be turned this way a little bit. It's drying quick. Man, that's not bad. So what I had to do on this engine, that's pretty damn good myself. It's a little crooked, but not much. I may have turned it too much. Turn it back a little bit. That's pretty good. No one's going to recognize it on the track. I'll be going 1,000 miles an hour, son. So there you go. Custom Hot Rod Series Purple. Chevy. You know why the color purple is so rare? Because back in the day, it was harder to make purple. In paints, in dyes, it was more rare in that sense. Other than that, you know, purple's alright. I'm not really a fan of it. I like deep purple. Man, could they rock. Alright. So yeah, that's done, I'm calling it. For now, that's my engine. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to re-bungee, put my body out in the sun. It's about time to crack a beer. And I'm going to let it warm up, reapply my bungee cord because I don't think the body's tight enough. You know, I mean, it's got a nice click, but it just seems loose, you know. Like this one here is tighter. See that's clicking like loud. See what I mean? That's what I want. You know, when you have these full body brakes like this, like I did, where the full piece comes off, when you super glue these on, try to super glue them with this area coming in a little bit. All right, so that would accommodate, you know, the use. That would be like using a bungee tie in the sun to warm up your body, and bring this in so you get a tight fit on your Tycos. You know, you probably can apply that to other cars too. But so listen to the sound of this. That's really not what I'm looking for. I mean, it's on there, but you know, I drive like a bat out of hell now. I want my stuff to stay on. Listen to this one. That's clicked even before it's even on. And then you push a little that way. That way. Man, that's a strong sounding click. Clip. That's a wrong word. Oops. So, yeah. So I got some spare engines I can, you know, get on. I'm going to get some of those resin engines. I forget what that guy called himself, man. I'm going to have to look up that website again. I mentioned it on one of my videos. A guy at Stockpile Hobbies, it turned me on to him. In one of his videos, he mentioned the guy does the resin bodies and stuff. But I get paid it tomorrow, so I'm going to get me some of them Jeg Hobbies intake and blower assemblies, man. They got like 6 for like 15 bucks. So I'll be doing a lot of this stuff on my stuff, man. Like this. Boom, throw a blower on it, you know. So what I'm going to do on this is I'm going to bring it in, go drink a beer, heat it up in the sun, put the bungee on for 24 hours. I like waiting on the bungees, man. Just really give that plastic. And when you do these, here's the body stabilizing clip, I called it. Go to the front, like dead center of these two pieces. If you go too far to the back, I've done it before, you'll pull the back in too much. And that's you kind of want to pull these in equally. Generally what'll happen, man, is one to give more. Okay? So just go with it. Whatever side gives, man, you know, after you heat it up, whatever side gives, don't break it like I do. Just go a little bit, see your distance, what you can get away with in the bend. Put your bungee through the window, not on the roof. If you can't avoid it, you know, if you have to go on the roof, go on the roof. You know, don't set it on metal out in the sun. Okay? Set it on like wood or grass or something, you know, not metal. But yeah, that's looking badass. What you think, boys and girls? So what I'm going to do, like I said, I'm going to re-bungee it, bring that body in, and then I'm going to put some flame tats. Now generally you want to put your tats on, and I picked these up off the internet. I got a bunch of them, man. You know, I like overbuying sometimes, you know. That way I can give some away, throw them in the trash. If I mess them up, you know, hell, if I sell a slot car, I can give some tats away for free. You know, they're not that expensive, man. Make someone happy, you know. So, what I chose, I got these, damn. I got these tats. So I'm going to put one on each side by the door. Just like that. That's all I'm going to do. Maybe something on the top. I'm kind of thinking just keep it minimalist and do the door only. Now generally when you put on tats, you kind of want a clear coat on them. Or if you go like that with your fingernail or something, they'll just come right off, man. So my airbrush is, you know, in another country. So I'm just going to put them on, you know. So you know how to put on tats, boys and girls. They say wet the surface, wet the tat. Try not to wet the tat so long that it comes off the paper in the water. Now that sucks. Okay, you may not be able to salvage that. Just wet it enough and take your tweezers and stuff and get it out. Wet the surface first, always. And that way you can pull a tat off and put it on the surface and you can still move it. So use your tweezers and whatever, get it in position, use your finger, whatever, man, but don't double it. Don't mess up your tat, because once you get it on there, you're going to be screwed. The way I like to do is when I position it, is dab with the Q-tip to get the excess water off. And you can use the Q-tip to manipulate the positioning of the tat as well. And then like roll it. Go like this and roll the water out from underneath the tat, you know, and make sure you don't move it. Okay, once you get the water out from underneath it, the tat is going to want to stay and it'll be stationary. So position it while the water's under there and then dab it. Don't move it. Just dab it to make sure, squish some of that water out, make sure it's still positioned, and then roll this to flatten any air bubbles out without moving the tat. Don't go like this and twist it. You got to roll it like that. Yeah. All right. Build, drive, crash. Slots out.